Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. It is time again for another episode of Another Sports View brought to you by Women Love Sports Too. And before we get into some very serious topics and introduce our special guest, I'd like for our hosts to introduce ourselves. We made it to another year, 2023. I see one host, everybody's all decked out in their college gear. I didn't know, but I am repping for the College of William and Mary in my green and are my earrings gold? Green and gold. So, although no one gave me the memo, I made it happen. And it's your girl, Kanisha. Very happy to be here. And I am a big fan of one of our guests that's on the show with us right now. But we'll get to that. Introduce yourselves, ladies. Go ahead.
Well, Kanisha, didn't need you to point out the bad hair day. Um, it's your girl Hatch, Hatchy New Year, and we are here on our very first podcast of 2023. Hey, y'all.
Okay, well, like that said, it's a greeny new year. And I am sure Green with the Big E raining in all the way from Ohio this time. Down here close to the Natty. That be Cincinnati.
She just can't let it go. And we'll
But
have our
she's been to
special
the,
guest.
she's been to the local Walmart. You see them new threads?
Girl.
Yeah, they were having a liquidation
Let me tell
sale
you something.
probably because and we'll let our special guest unmute himself and I'll do a little bit of introduction. I've known this young man for 19 years now, and I was actually there when he was born because I'm his mom. Oh Lord, I'm being interrupted right now while I'm doing a podcast.
Ooh.
You out here cheating on me?
I'm doing a podcast.
This is
Okay,
what
no,
happens
no.
when things are live.
I just asked you where you was at.
You probably should have talked to your man before you came on.
All right,
KK.
see you later. Okay, so I have to let you
Is that a
know
stalker?
I am where I always am, and this young man can attest to it. I am at skill position training for my high school football player, and it's a whole community, a big family, and so people that we have known for over a decade. Someone just rolled up on me because they saw my car and got really excited, and I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, and it did. But anyway, um, let's introduce our guest and then get into the special topic of why I invited this young man. He is a sophomore at the Howard University, the real HU, plays defensive back in his second year. And this year, the Bison were MEAC co-champions. And this young man right here made second team defense. For as a corner for the MEAC, as well as second team All HBCU. And I'm really proud to introduce Robert Jones III, rocking jersey number 1 on defense. Hey, Robert.
How you doing? How you doing? She kind of stole my whole introduction, so it's really not much I can say. But just thankful to be on the show and just happy to be here. Happy New Year to everybody as well too.
Happy New Year. So let's get into the thing that is kind of on everyone's hearts and minds right now. And that was um, talking about Monday Night Football and the game taking a really tragic turn very early in the first quarter in a way that we would have never imagined. And that was when um, DB Damar Hamlin actually collapsed on the field after making a play, taking a hit, and or delivering a hit, and um, had to be resuscitated. Emergency responders were on the scene. They were administering CPR for over 10 minutes on the field. And there was a lot of just uncertainty, questioning, and controversy for a while about resuming the game. But first and foremost, we'd like to send our prayers and all the wishes for full recovery and the health and well-being of Damar Hamlin. We just pray for his strength, pray for his family's strength. As a mom, and as a mom who is ridden in an ambulance with my child from a football game because of an injury, I can only imagine what his family's going through, teammates. Um, and what we're hearing from everyone, just the athletic world all the way around. um, we're just thinking about him, and we're right there with him, praying for him, cheering him on, and praying that this journey to recovery will be a full and healthy one. Remarkable young man. With that, immediately conversation started talking about the realities of what a tough sport football can really be. And so that's why we invited Robert on the show to talk about playing and performing at a high level and the toll that it can take on a young body. Damar Hamlin's 23, 24 years old. You just don't expect someone who is the embodiment and picture of health to suffer what is speculated to be a severe cardiac um, episode in kind of a freak and fluke way. But wanted to hear straight from an athlete who really loves the game. How do you deal day in, day out with the risk and the reality? You yourself are coming off of a surgery. Um, but what did this occurrence on Monday night, how does it make you think about the game or approach the game? How are athletes talking about what's happened differently and how you'll approach the game, Robert?
I would say in the most weird way, it's not even like in the most point blank period way. It really like people are affected by it because it's just a crazy scenario where most people you never seen anything like that happen in football where somebody just collapsed on the field. It has to be resuscitated on the field, and it's just but at the same time, every athlete they know that when you play a game or especially when you play football, I mean, really, when you look at football, the point of the game is to try and run into another grown man and tackle another grown man all day, all game, every day. So you know that coming with that, injuries are bound to happen. So just as an athlete, it's like I could even tell a story that just from the other week when on Christmas Day when I was with my family members and a family member came up to me and just said like, "Are you crazy?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was just talking about because how my arm was in a sling due to my surgery, and she was like, "You'll do all this just to play football, just to like you banging your body up, tearing your body up just to play football." When the reality is, you've been playing this since a little kid. That's been your dream to, get to the highest level of football. And it's just, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. So that's really the way that I would say most athletes look at it.
So, I think the thing that we're most thankful for is that there is immediate access to, a high level of critical care. He's in critical condition right now and kind of in somewhat of a medically induced coma to cool his body down, to help him regenerate and revive from all the trauma. And then they'll slowly warm his body back up as we're waiting to hear kind of. How things are progressing. We have to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, in the road to recovery as well. And I look at it from a mother's standpoint of you know someone who used to follow my child around with Neosporin, as every time he bumped and hit something, to and when you really think about agreeing to uh, someone that you love playing this sport and understanding the danger of it, it really is about weighing so many people living out their dream through athletics, achieving scholarships, being able to help others. um, I was just seeing in a social media post how Damar's nonprofit for children has, he had an initial goal, I think, of like $8,000, and he's raised millions of dollars now.
Yeah.
Um, so with that great you know, responsibility and all that talent also comes, you know, opportunity to help and impact and influence others. You know, would you say, Robert, that that's a part of too, um, you know, why you love
Definitely,
it so much?
definitely. I would say every athlete views it that way because at least the majority of athletes they view it as like if I make it, I get to help my family, I get to help the people around me, that type of deal. Or I get to help other people who are in my shoes. So I would say that makes even bigger total like I gotta make it. And then even when you do make it, it's like I gotta keep doing it because I wanna help the people around me and that kind of deal. So you'll really it's like the love of the game will really make you do whatever to to keep playing.
Mm.
So I know, you know, when you're talking about do whatever, I know, Robert, you're going to have to hop off of the phone quickly to go pick a teammate up from the airport as classes are resuming at Howard soon next week, and everyone has to report back to campus. But one of the things that we were talking about as we watched the game was the timing of the decision about whether or not to, because initially they postponed the game and then they canceled the game. Um, and looking at, you know, all the footage of the faces of his teammates, everyone kneeling in prayer, coaches from, you know, the different teams coming together, all of these different things. um, you know, what do you think about the timing, and what do you think about the decision to discontinue the game?
In reality, I would say the reason that it took so long is because like football and especially the NFL is truly a the show goes on type of business. So I mean, the reality of it is they know like if this was a regular injury, even if it was a catastrophic injury, you know, a broken leg or something, and somebody had to sit on the field for 20 minutes, get an air cast, all that kind of stuff, you know, the game would resume because they're just like somebody else will come in and play the position. So I think that's where they were fighting the dilemma of should we stay on that same track where it's all right, he's going to the hospital, we're worried about him, but the game still goes on because somebody else can come in and play his role. But at the same time, it's like the the human in you makes you want to just be like, nah, cancel the game. Like it's a bigger issue than football going on right now. But when the NFL, especially making millions of dollars, billions of dollars off views, all that kind of stuff, all the money that goes into the NFL, that's where they kind of don't want to cancel, don't want to reschedule that type of deal. That's in my opinion.
Mm.
I
So,
agree with Robert. Go ahead, Cheryl.
oh no, I was gonna say, Robert, I was gonna ask you a question. Well, I was gonna jump in about 3 or 4 minutes ago, but I got, seasick. You was moving that camera all around. I'm sitting here, Lord, I need them. What you call it, the pills you take when you on the boat, you about to throw up. Yeah,
A Dramamine.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
it was. Because I
I
know
don't
what
have anywhere to prop the phone. I couldn't
was.
find a spot.
It's okay, Robert. Cheryl needs more drugs than that. Go ahead, Cheryl.
so, so Robert, it's good to see you. I've seen you in pictures and everything. So you've been playing since you was a little kid, and I know there were times when you get that hit and you fell down and you was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this again. When was that defining moment for you? And then when did you get over it and say, you know what, it wasn't so bad. I'm gonna get on out there because this is my dream and this is what I want to do. And then because there is a story behind that question.
Definitely. I mean, when I was younger, like I didn't start playing football till fifth grade, and you know, fifth to eighth grade, I was okay. Like I wasn't one of the best players on my team by any means or anything like that. So I was just playing football because you know my friends were playing football. I like football, all that kind of deal. I didn't really love football yet. But then when I got to high school and I started actually, you know, making plays and stuff like that, that's when I was like, I remember the hit that you're asking for was when I was playing freshman football and I was throwing the ball and I had threw the ball to the receiver. As soon as I threw it, the defensive lineman had crushed me, but the receiver had caught it, so it was like I was hurting at first. I got the wind knocked out of me. I went to the sideline and all, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep getting hit like this. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, well we're having fun. We're winning the game. I made the throw. You know that. So it's just like it just gets to the point where you realize like this is just part of the game. It's a physical game. Like that's why things like I ain't gonna say things like what happened on Monday happened because that's a very rare occurrence, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just a crazy occurrence. But people do get hurt. Most of like there's really been times where we're in practice, and somebody will really get like a serious injury, and we'll just have to move to the other side of
Nice.
the field and
I
continue practice
understand.
because it's just the show goes on. Honestly.
Okay, and reason that I asked that because my son he played football when he was little, and when he got to high school, and I know your mom done this as well. She done bought you went out and bought all this expensive gear. You was out there flying and everything,
Hmm.
and like you, he was wide receiver. He caught
Yep.
the ball, and I'm sitting in the stands and I'm looking at him. He catch the ball and he get hit and he just lay down there, So I was a little slow to stand up because I'm like, boy, you better get up. You just soft. That hit wasn't that hard. So I say, like this was kind of like for real, for real. So I just see my son put a hand up like that, him, and his little finger went up, and that was it for him. He was like, "Mom, I ain't get hit like that ever, and I don't want to get hit like that ever again." I said, "Well, I should have came out there and hit you like that. It was your little soft self." But however, he went ahead on to start playing basketball. So he was
Hey,
like, "They don't hit the basketball, Mom." So I'm cool.
yeah,
I
that's
just
how
wanted to
great basketball players are made,
That's right.
right there.
I just only thing I had was that I agreed with Robert as far as the show goes on, and that's not to be stated in an insensitive way, but you've seen now so many articles and stories now about the NFL's handling of the game, the situation. But there's also this thing that exists, like people love to be outraged, like they just love it. So you have people that'll talk about how long it took them to cancel the game, right? But then if they had canceled it too soon, you'd have people that were outraged about that. I mean, think about the fact that there's an emergency situation. Ambulance needs to get to the what is it called, level 1 trauma center. It's not.
Mhm.
It's maybe not time to have all of your fans rushing to leave. I mean, there's just so many factors, and sometimes it's not. I mean, I know how the NFL can be, vilified, and in a lot of instances, rightfully so. But there's some real decision making that had to go on with that. So I agree with you as far as I think it made more sense to make a calculated decision, really, and timing wise, before saying that it was time to to cancel the game. But you're never going to be able to please everyone, and I'm not always jumping up to defend the NFL, but I'm like at some point we got to draw a line. Like they canceled the game, the initial I think importance was Hamlin State. And then it was time to go into business. So
Yeah.
some people need to shut up and focus on what's really good. So I agree with you on how they handled it and the decision behind it. So
Okay, Robert, before you jet off, um, because your little brother is definitely following in your footsteps, based on the situation that happened. What advice or what conversations are you having with your little brother?
The only thing that I can tell him is just to try and play as safe as possible, but at the same time, playing safe is when you get hurt. So it's just like it's a slippery slope. Like honestly, there's really no real advice that you could give somebody because it's truly a anything can happen sport. You could one day you could go throughout the game, not get a single nick or bruise. The next game you could come out the game. I mean, the next game you could come out the game with a, a, strain in your quad and a bruise to your rib and all kinds of stuff because it's just football. Like it's just you're sitting there. It's a physical game. Realistically, like that's the only way to explain it. It's just you got to try and keep yourself safe, but anything can happen.
Okay. What are your goals?
As
Cheryl
far,
wants to know if you want to play for the Browns.
Yeah, yeah. What are your goals? Because I'm
first order,
Oh
first
gosh.
order of business: win the MEAC, win the Celebration Bowl, uh,
mm-hmm.
to lead my team, uh, ball out stats wise, of course, and then hopefully that take me to the NFL in some way, shape, or form, whichever way that happens. If I can get a chance, I'll make the best of it.
And
Always
you're a
do.
quarterback, right?
Yeah, corner.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we need one of those, and we need one. Yeah, we need a new brownie. Yeah, so we're gonna be looking for you. We got our eyes on you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
if you got some
Cheryl is trying
connects,
to
tell them
get
hit my
all
phone.
Cheryl is trying to get all the migration to Ohio that she can. I will say that one of the conversations that I had, I immediately texted both of my sons and I said, from now on, you're going to wear your padded compression shirts for every game. You have to promise me. I'm going to make them sign something that, maybe it would reduce a risk, because there's multiple pads on that, but it's not the coolest thing to wear. It's not the swag, but you know, it's there for a reason. That's why they have them wear, you know, different types of pads and different types of things. And, the reality is I see even at a high level, um, you know, players will play and they'll play really hard, um, at these higher levels. They'll get taped up, wrapped up, uh, all kind of up to go out there and make those contributions for their team and for their teammates. I witnessed it, and they make choices every day. They make choices to wait until the end of the season to get a surgery, to you know um, to play on an injury, and then it intensifies. For the love of the sport. And that's why I appreciate the sensitivity during that time that, for example, I think it was Ryan Clark that he brought to just talking about it and talking about reminding people that these giants, these, superhuman, you know, uh, individuals are humans.
Hmm.
And it gives us pause. And he said the next time you get angry with your fantasy football player for not making a play or not doing something, just think about the fact that these folks are human. I can only imagine his mom probably had superhuman speed getting down there to him, because I know I would have.
Yes.
I know I would have.
What Kanisha?
So
I think that you should have your boys to sign an NDA.
I just might. You have no idea the types of contracts and agreements I've had 10-year-old Robert sign um, for things
Oh,
like
that's why he went off.
he was probably like, don't give her any ideas. But I mean, that's the reality. But you juggle it with people living their dream and something that they love. And this is, this same type of thing. I was watching a cardiologist talk today, and he said that type of injury and impact is really common in baseball because people get hit in the chest with a ball, a catcher or others, and you see it quite often in baseball as well. So it's not just football. There are risks, but a lot of times I think football, no pun intended, takes the hit for a lot of um, people pointing at why someone doesn't play a sport.
You,
And so that's something to think about.
we did talk a lot about Damar Hamlin, but I wonder how Huggins is doing because he was the one that
Yes,
hit him. What is his state of mind? And is anybody talking to him? Because, he might need a little bit of help because, if it wasn't from him hitting, playing the game, we wouldn't even be talking, well, hit that young man, we wouldn't be talking about this incident now. So I think we should keep him in our prayers as well.
definitely keeping that young man in his prayers. And I know, I think Robert can speak to how, in these situations, you kind of have to get past the what ifs and push on, though. Um,
Mhm.
but, as that happens, we're still just praying for Damar Hamlin and his family. They're in it for the long haul.
Mhm.
And I know that he's devastated, but that wasn't his intent
Mhm.
um, in any way.
Right.
It's the game.
Mhm.
It's the game. So there's got to be a purpose behind it. Um, and part of that purpose is, the healing, the recovery, and maybe reflection upon, uh, you know, looking at this and looking at players, athletes as human beings. So again,
Agree.
prayers for number three. for the Bills community, the NFL community, um, as they rally behind him and cheer him on. The Pitt community, we're just seeing a lot from all over the sports world, just cheering him on, and we join him in that. So
Yes.
put 3 up for number 3. So, uh, and moving on, and a little bit more reflection, I think as we closed out the year and we talked about some of the greats that have transitioned, Pele passed away. Soccer great, soccer goat, Pele. Are you gonna allow me to use goat this time, Cheryl? Because I know how sensitive you are. But this is Pele.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it was really a rhetorical question, Cheryl, but
It
go
really
ahead.
was. I mean,
Why are you really asking?
I'm the anchor
We're not
today.
really asking permission.
Look at me. I'm your captain now. So I'm the anchor today.
Yes, Kanisha.
So we just want to reflect upon the impact that Pele had on the soccer world. I mean, you couldn't kick a ball without yelling out Pele. I know I couldn't um, coming up, but he, inspired everyone coming from humble beginnings, being a humanitarian, um, and just, bringing a worldwide love to what he termed the beautiful game of soccer. So we just want to reflect and remember Pele um, as we enter into 2023. Um, and then moving on, let's talk about some of these college bowls. There were some surprises, some upsets. I was wrong about one. I know, look, I see your face, Cheryl. I was wrong about one, but I wasn't wrong about the other. The one that you care about, was I?
We we were we was behind closed doors,
We,
behind the scenes. And we said that we were for Michigan one, and we were for the Ohio State two. Now you come on the podcast and you change up on us. I
she's
don't know
speaking.
this. I don't know this, Kanisha.
Are you speaking French now? I'm confused about the we. We're talking about American college football, and this is what happened. Um, so in the Fiesta Bowl, Michigan versus TCU. Um, TCU. I wasn't expecting that, but hey, speed kills. So the the Horned Frogs of
Mm.
TCU beat Michigan 51-45. Didn't expect that. I was wrong. I'm claiming it because, I was firm. I was resolute. Michigan's going to get it.
I picked
They
the Big Blue too,
Yeah,
but
Yeah, I think we all was in agreement with that one. Yeah, because
okay.
yeah, Big Ten. Yeah.
So
but
then we
yeah, I
had
think that's one
you
fraud.
know, the Red Hot Red World and the Peach Bowl, and Georgia, as I predicted, beat Ohio State by a very narrow margin of 42-41. Cheryl, what happened?
Well, I would say that it was a good game, and then it was a great game. However, we did have a little bit of bad coaching at some moment in time. Yes, our kicker, Noah Huggles, he's kicked a 48 yarder before, but he's never kicked a 50 yarder.
Mm-hmm.
So the coach should have known that, and they should have got us in position. So if he kicked the 50, never kicked the 50, but he kicked the 48. So he should at least got us down to at least the 45. And then he could have kicked the 48 and we would have won the game. But however, he did not do his homework. But we gonna take that L. We gonna take that L. It's not because Georgia was a good team and they was ooh and no, no.
You talking about the reigning champions, Georgia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
We
so
handled
now
them. We
Let me
handled
now it's
ask.
going to be
I forgot to go back and look. I thought for a second, did that ball get tipped?
the kicking when he kicked the ball a little bit.
Yeah, did it get tipped?
It did because it went way over to New York City and then it came back.
I maybe okay. Now I don't even know.
I
I
thought
know it went far left, but I was asking it. But the way you just said the ball went from Atlanta to New York, you know what? Just Never mind.
but but not
I'll go look at the tape.
but maybe not on Southwest because they weren't operating well at
No,
the time.
no,
But
right.
at the end, it's frogs and dogs. Who you
Mm.
got? Real quick.
Oh, I don't know. I said Georgia last week, but those frogs came. I don't know the way they
What
showed
happened?
up.
They were hopping, baby. They were hopping all over the place.
All right, you go first, Cheryl. Who you got?
Well, ooh, I ain't got a dog in the fight.
What
So,
else? No.
Is that your hint?
but mm. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go with the red team. I don't know. I mean, I ain't got a dog in the fight, so I'm just gonna say Georgia because I got some kinfolk in Georgia.
I'm still going with Georgia. Um, Although we had the runner-up Heisman winner there with the frogs, but I'm sticking with the dogs. So
No, I want to. Speaking of
I'm not
dogs,
gonna put any money on it though.
yeah. Speaking of dogs, I want to switch and root for the underdog because that's just what I do. I mean, TCU backup quarterback, um, to come in and do what he did. I just, I like a good. It's like cue some theme music. I love that too. I love that story, but um, I'm gonna stick with my Georgia pick. But I won't be
Mm.
mad if the frogs, pull it out.
I was gonna say, don't be flip flopping. You can't flip flop. You gotta stay with me and Kanisha get the option to, because my teams, yeah.
See, I'm
Okay.
moving around now with my rigged mobile unit here
Mm-hmm.
in this parking lot, trying to
You're on
mitigate.
assignment,
Yeah, I don't want anyone else rolling up on me.
right?
Um, and I had my windows up and everything, like
He was like
clearly.
this. He was like this. Where you at?
What you doing in there?
Right, exactly.
Way to start a show.
You was cheating on
Um,
me.
well,
Mm.
talking about other upsets, one that was really interesting, the Cotton Bowl. Tulane over the University of Southern California. Who would have thought Tulane would
Wow.
have gotten 46-45, would have gotten the best. The Green Wave scored more in the last 4.5 minutes of regulation to get that win. I love it.
Mm.
Reminded me of the Steelers game.
Woo! I thought when you said upsets, I thought you were going to talk about how upset some of the Commanders fans were about their new mascot.
Is his name Major Tootie or Tutty?
Tuttles.
I thought it was Tootie, like Major Attitude, because I'd have major attitude about Miss Piggy's brother in a little outfit.
Well, my question would be, how much is he getting paid?
I
He's
thought
getting
it was Tutty. When you say Tootie, now it reminds me of Facts of Life. I thought it was. I think it's Tutty. I
Oh.
also think it's Cruddy. It's
Mm.
Why is
it's
it Tutty though? What is the Tud?
Listen, I can't do any more pork play on words. I do not know why that's his name. Okay, I just don't. I just don't. It's I mean, I know it's got the story. He was a. They said he was a piglet back when the hogs were a thing, when the hogs played, and now he's all grown up and he's a fan of the Commanders. And I'm like, this is getting worser and worser. And then, we honored Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, and the great Joe Gibbs on last Sunday, and then the way we showed up, I just
They were like, ta-da, Major
right.
Tootie.
Right.
Tutty.
Major Tudda, it was, yeah. So I can't even say back to the drawing board. I mean, Tuddy's here now, but we showed up, but and I can't blame. I think the Packers defeating the Vikings put us out, but no, you put your own
Mm.
self. We needed, your playoff hopes don't need to be on anybody else but you. But
You
Who
know
put you
why? You know
when
why?
Green
Until
Bay,
you do
well, we
right by
lost.
me.
Said it again.
I said, until you do right by me,
Right.
you know why.
Yeah. So Cheryl, with us losing and Green Bay beating the Vikings,
Mhm.
we are boom. Let me
Well,
tell you.
that's our New Year's resolution. Our goal is to knock teams out of the playoffs.
You're not in the playoffs. What are you
I'm not.
talking about?
No, our team, the Browns. That's our goal to
That's exactly
knock
what you
teams
said.
out
The
of the
Browns aren't
playoffs.
in it. The only ones,
That's
the
why. That's
only
why they want others with them. That's her point, probably.
Yes, we're gonna knock every team out that we can.
the Steelers could still do it.
They on the chopping block. They up next. Look, they up next.
I don't know. They
Mm,
they got they got that big time W on Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. So I don't know, Cheryl.
okay.
Hey,
Well,
Cheryl, are you
okay, so
are you broadcasting live from the powder room?
Yeah, I'll be in yeah. Hmm.
You're in the bathroom right now.
No, I'm not.
No, it looks like it. It looks like it. And I like the consistency of you and the family for the Browns. I see the Browns balls and the footballs in the back, and I did think I was like, they got Browns paraphernalia in the bathroom.
in
These
the
folks are
do you
serious.
do you have
But
a brown shower curtain? Like I have Steelers pajamas and I have like a Steelers pillow, but I'm not committing to like a shower curtain.
yeah,
No, we're not that. But however, my brother do have one of these.
It
it's
should be a
just a,
middle
it's
finger,
a
but
cushy finger.
It's a
Oh,
is
little
it
one.
squeak?
Browns
I don't
rule.
know about the one.
Yes.
But
Okay,
if that was in the
we're taking a valuable time.
if that was in the bathroom, it'd be appropriate. Browns rule. There we go. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
But now, so Kanisha, I know you don't want to say anything about this, but I think it's very important that I do bring this up. The Cleveland
This weekend?
Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell
That is a big deal.
scored 71 points.
That's a big
And
deal.
yes, and I watched the game, so I did not see the incident with Cincinnati and Buffalo because I was watching that game. And I tell you, Donovan Mitchell, ooh, how he came and just tied up the score and then went into overtime. Chicago couldn't buy a shot. Donovan,
He was doing it.
it
That
was a
was a big
Donovan,
deal. That was
yeah,
a
it
big
was a
deal.
Donovan show. Yes.
Okay,
And
we'll give Ohio one because
yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes. Mhm.
okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
good for the
they
Cavaliers.
are our Stitcho stand up for the week. He is
Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the
Donovan
stand
Mitchell.
up.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Donovan Mitchell, you get the
Hmm.
stand up.
Yes.
The sit show is going to be whoever decided on Major Tuddy.
I know.
Yeah. I was gonna say Tuttles.
I know. I know.
Tootie.
It's bad.
It's
It's
still
bad.
really appropriate for a broadcast conversation about the Browns being in the ladies' room. I think that's appropriate. But um,
Don't talk about no Browns in the ladies' room. You know they QB. Don't talk about it.
Like, well, they
I
cute.
forgot.
They show walked over them. What y'all is called the
I,
Commanders,
I
Randos.
mean, a great showing. A great showing is exactly what happened. Y'all came here and just tore us apart.
Okay.
You know what? It wasn't as bad though as the Citrus Bowl LSU 63 over Purdue 7.
Oh,
Oh.
That's like basketball scores. I was like, what was going on there?
Mm. Usually, yeah.
and sometimes with those scores, I'm like, well, were you supposed to be here? Were you
Well,
like
it
the
was hot.
squad
It was really hot in Florida, so maybe LSU had the heat
advantage?
advantage.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm trying to
yeah,
make it make sense.
exactly. Yeah. Oh boy.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
ladies.
I don't know. But we're over. I think I've probably worn out my welcome here.
On
Cheryl
site.
certainly has. No, but I'm just kidding,
But
Cheryl.
I'm here to support our loss. So we definitely take that with our chin up because we played a good
And
game.
I mean, they made it that far, so it wasn't like Ohio State wasn't balling out. I'll give it to them. Okay.
Yeah. They made
this
Georgia. They
weekend.
made Georgia work for that win for sure.
And shout out to Maryland in the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
Yep.
And Coach Loxley going ahead and taking all that mayonnaise, letting them pour mayonnaise on him, which I think is
Yep.
gross. It's good for your hair, though. So I hear.
Yes.
But until we meet again, everyone, just, thank you for your time. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Tracy, for a great episode. Thank you to Robert, wherever you are, for joining us to just kind of talk about, the risk and reward and love of the game. And with that, I'd like to end by just, again, saying our thoughts and our love are with Damar Hamlin. Um, Hoping for a good report real soon. We'll be praying for it and praying for him and his family during this time.
Yes.
Until then, another Sports View loves you, and you too.
Go
We'll
Browns.
see you soon.
Beat
Take care.
Steelers.
Oh, where? Home.